Hey everyone, in this video I'll be ranking the bosses in Resident Evil 9 Requiem on a tier list from best to worst. There are 10 different boss-like encounters in this game, and I'll be honest, they weren't that challenging, but we'll be breaking down all of them because there are some pretty interesting mechanics in some of these fights, other fights being very similar to ones that we gotten in previous Resident Evil games, and ones that remind me of final bosses of Resident Evil 3 remakes, but I digress. We're going to cover all things related to the different bosses, and actually the first one, the girl here, is not that much of an actual boss fight. It's more so just an encounter that you gotta avoid as Grace. I'm not going to really include it on this list because it isn't much of a fight. I still think it was a decent one overall, so I'm just going to throw in the B tier. But our first actual boss that we can kind of fight is the chef or the butcher here. Now, this is a bit of a challenging fight because the area that he's first at, you can't really do a whole lot about it. You just have to sneak past him. He was pretty scary. Playing as Grace was obviously more challenging than playing as Leon, but when you came in through here, you had to listen for the sound cues and push that cart there to get away from him. But later on, if you wanted to take him out, you had to come to the filing room here and wait for him to pass. You could also shoot him with the Requiem, especially if you're playing on like an easier difficulty, but you can't do that on the higher difficulties. The thing is, you gotta listen for him to be walking by here, and afterwards, you'd also have to have the hemolytic injector here. You can kind of watch for him, and then as soon as he passes by, all you gotta do is just run out of the room here, and then stab him with that. So, kind of fun. I just found this to be a little bit of a, obviously easy one is a one-shot attack here, and yeah, he's done for and explodes like pinata of blood. But yeah, this fight overall, I thought he was quite menacing at the start of the game. Nothing too challenging though. Probably safe around the B tier. And a much better encounter is Chunk. Now, what I liked about Chunk is it takes some of the scariness from like the previous boss and kind of dials it up even further. He's this big, fat, ugly thing that is chasing you down. He does get stuck in doorways. Not very challenging because all you have to do is literally just get him aggroed onto your character and then just run upstairs here to get him stuck in the doorway. But yeah, I thought that this was a pretty fun one overall. And the animations, if you actually grab your character, are pretty freaky. But yeah, he's just going to try and grab at you from the door there. Can't do a whole lot about it. And it's pretty funny because then he just wobbles his way back downstairs. You stab him in the ass with this big hemolytic injector. It does take 3 of them, or if you're going to be a bit more ballsy, you can just do 2 of them and then blast away. It's funny though, because whenever he does come after you the second time, he just gives up so quickly. So yeah, I figured if maybe he was a little bit more angry after the fact, that would have made a little bit more sense, but he wasn't that challenging because honestly, you see there, he moves so slowly that it's like, yeah, not even a fight. Took a couple Requiem rounds like a champ, and then he was down for the count. So another one where I'd just say it's a B tier fight. These could actually probably be moved down to C tier. They're just okay. I like them for the start of the game, but yeah, facing off against him a second time is kind of funny. And next up, we got the Blister Borne, or Mr. Blister Tits, whatever you want to call him here. Now, he is kind of fun because there are large hit places you have to shoot at on this body. It's got this cool arena here. This reminded me of a previous Resident Evil game as well. Nothing super challenging here. It's kind of just run the gauntlet in a circle here. There's a couple explosions that you can use to just explode and obviously stun the boss, make it a little bit easier. The whole objective of this fight is just to pop those blisters on his back. I found this one to be a pretty fun one, despite being a little short. That's kind of my sentiment across a lot of these boss fights, even like in the highest difficulty mode. They become bullet sponges, but it's not so much like the length of the fight that ends up being. But honestly, I do think that this fight was pretty solid overall. It was fun because you could just kind of bait him up here to get the explosions and then get easier shots at his blisters there. But this one wasn't too bad in all honesty, because all he had to do is like run up here, and if he comes near, you pop that, and then you just hop down here, grab your loot or whatever you wanted to do. The enemies that come in here come with a bunch of weapons too, so you can just sling them back at him. So yeah, overall, it wasn't that bad of a fight. I should have probably saved that for him. They had med injectors in this fight, so yeah, you had all sorts of loot. It does get burning. It does start to burn in here after a halfway mark of this fight, so yeah, you can get a couple of melee attacks in to break his blisters. Wasn't too challenging, especially if you're able to pop the blister on his back first. That just made things a lot smoother. And otherwise, you just get with the melee or throw the weapons at him and finish him off just like that. And yeah, Blister Borne. Overall, I didn't find the fight to be too challenging, but I found it to be a fun one. I like the arena quite a bit, so I might put this one up in the A tier. And again, this tier list is ranked among itself. This is not comparing it to other Resident Evil games, but rather just the other bosses within this game. Now, the giant spider here, I really like this one. I also wish this fight was a lot longer, because right as soon as I was getting into a flow of this fight, I found it was just over at that point. Now, you just run past them here for certain parts. The thing is, you want to try and get the blisters on its back, so there are explosions around in the arena just like this that you can use to stun the boss. It ended up being a cakewalk after I did this, so I just exploded that there, which ends up kind of stunning the spider, which lets you get a few shots in free at that big blister on its back. and it only takes like 4 or 5 Requiem hits here to actually finish the thing off. Its mouth is its other weak point, and the funny thing is I thought it was a goner here. I thought it was going to chase after me. Nope, if you damage it enough, it actually is going to run upstairs. This let me get even more shots off against him. Didn't have that much ammo actually at this point. This is kind of scary, but all it then took is just running upstairs and pumping a couple more shots and just waiting for it to come after me here. It was really easy after that point. After all that damage I just did to it, all it took was one more explosion to finish off the giant spider. I like the giant spider fight. I wish it was longer though. I might put it into the I might say like B tier area. It was all right, but I do wish it was longer. Now, I was laughing so hard at this point. I actually didn't expect this. I'm actually going to do a little change. I'm going to push the girl down to like the C tier. Obviously it wasn't really much of a fight, but just to balance this out a bit. Leon's quipping while he's riding on a bike that I'm surprised didn't have the wheels fall off it while he's riding on this was pretty funny. It took me out seeing this entire fight. It felt like it was in a movie. This was kind of funny. So you're fighting the Wolfos here, the Amarateris, whatever the names of these are. Honestly, it was pretty fun. I really like jumping across the rooftop here, just destroying it on the bike. Again, surprised the bike didn't fall apart after being locked up in a place like that. Didn't have an oil change in years. Like, seriously, this took me out. It felt a little corny playing through this. I thought it was awesome. I love big set pieces like this that are just energetic. And I was annoyed that it kept reminding me how to shoot at him. Like, I wasn't doing that the entire time with the infinite ammo. But this part right here, I was a little shocked over this. I know this isn't much of a boss fight, but what the heck? This part had me laughing. I thought this was so funny. Kind of going back to the points, but how did this bike not fall apart? Well, yeah, we're pulling these tricks off here. It was really cool. I gotta say, this is the rule of cool matters here. Obviously, the bike survived. It's got plot armor, but yeah, this was really funny for a boss fight. I liked it personally. And of course, he would drop off with should have worn a helmet. It's classic evil Spider-Man quotes. But honestly, as epic as the cutscenes were, there wasn't a whole lot of fighting to be done, and it was kind of annoying just being like, shoot at him the whole time. So I'm just going to actually put this one down, probably B tier. I'll put it top of the B tier. I liked it, but I wish there was a lot more to it. It's kind of the sentiment I had for a lot of these boss fights. I wish there was just a little bit more. I made them a little more challenging, but yeah, this was fun for the cutscenes. Now, Mr. X, or I guess Mr. Y Tyrant here, this is a pretty fun fight. I really like the parrying in this game. I found it was very generous, but I found it to be fun. It just let you get up close and fight with the zombies. So I like this fight. I found this to be a fun one. It was a bit short for my taste. Again, like every fight in this game, I feel like it could have been maybe 40% longer. He does have a few different attacks he cycles through. It wasn't a whole lot to his kit. Basically, if he's on the ground, you can parry him. If he's on a car, he's going to jump at you and hit you really hard. So you got to watch out for that. It's not one you can really parry. I did see people say you can parry the car, so that's something. Obviously very tight timing in this fight, but yeah, as long as you're moving around and focusing on parrying and making sure that your blade is sharp so that don't happen, you'll be good. He does knock around the cars, and there are moments where you can get some pretty cool parries off like that. Like, as I said, this fight was pretty fun. Again, I do wish it was a bit harder. And yeah, you just had to get a couple melee attacks off on him. I was expecting 3, so that'd probably be what I would do to change this fight, is just give it another section in between the phases there. Maybe make it a little bit harder at the end. I don't know, it just felt like it was missing something. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun, so yeah, if you got the parries off, some of them he will grab you. So I'd have to say that this fight's probably like I would have to say I'm going to put it at the top of the A tier. I wish it was longer. For Resident Evil 9, maybe even S tier. We'll leave it at that. I thought this was pretty epic though. Now, Plan 43, this fight was really quick, especially if you use the classic 70 rifle here. Without the scope, it just became a cakewalk because you could just basically one-tap everything here. And while the arena wasn't large, it didn't need to be. All you had to do to survive this fight without getting hit is literally just run back and forth, left and right, just like that, and take a moment to take a shot every here and there. It was not that challenging whatsoever. So yeah, I like the idea of these big Titan-type boss fights. They're really fun, but this one, I feel like, not that it missed the mark, it just didn't have a lot going for it. So yeah, it was very simple. You literally just had to run left and right and avoid all of its attacks there, and then after a certain while you'd literally it would let out these explosives here where you just go ahead and blow it up. So yeah, pretty straightforward once you get to that point. This one wasn't challenging at all. I wish it was better. The plant fight, it was just really easy. I don't know, maybe other people had different experiences with it, but you literally just had to run back and forth and shoot it a few times. It was pretty simple. And Commander, maybe it's Hunk, maybe it's Rick the Door Technician, I don't know. I like this fight though. This was a melee fight, and another one where I wish it was just a lot longer. Like this could have been 2 to 3 times longer, and I think it would have been great, because he's supposed to be like a very strong soldier, and he was not really that challenging. So yeah, you couldn't actually shoot him. He was immune to bullets, so he didn't take any damage from those. All you had to do is continually keep parrying and attacking back. This was a fun fight. I really like the parry mechanics in this game, as mentioned, so having a fight that was heavily dependent on it, I thought was great. This fight took me 1 minute and 10 seconds to beat, so I'll let this all play out because I do think this is one of the best boss fights in the game because you really got to use the new mechanics in it, and it had some, you know, cool action scenes like this where he's trying to choke you out. Leon doing Leon things. I'm surprised there's no backflip there, but yeah, then he'll hit this and try to run away, be all sneaky, and then you can literally just keep parrying him away. This fight was very easy. It did not take much work at all to take him down. He tries to throw another flashbang, and whenever he does that, all you had to do was just chase after him, and he's very weak at this point, and then you just go ahead with attacking him here, and then it was pretty much game over just at that. All things being said, I still like this fight quite a bit. I wish it was longer. On Insanity, it'll probably be pretty solid, so I'm gonna put it up into the like high A tier, S tier fight. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is one of the more memorable, will be one of the more memorable ones from this game, so yeah, you also get the Mortal Edge, which has an increased parry timing on it with less damage. And next up is, or lastly, we have Victor Gideon Nemesis fight. This was an interesting one. I like the first phase quite a bit. It was actually really fun focusing on parrying his attacks. Like, he was quite challenging. Like, he was constantly chasing you down, and you had to get really good at just being reactive to his attacks. I wish that this first phase lasted longer, kind of similar to some of the other boss fights, or maybe had it split into 2 fights with a separate save so that you could, you know, fight against this one, have it actually be a challenge, and then go into the second fight and have it be a challenge as well. What I also like is you could parry while you're not even looking at the character, so yeah, you could just sometimes spam that. His second phase, however, whenever he goes into lightning, I just found this is the easiest part because once he was going into the second phase, you could literally put your entire shotgun into him and then blast away with some other guns, and then he'll go in and do this attack. This attack was really easy too because he was just going to stand in place there, so you could get some shots in or reload your gun. Then you're going to see on the ground exactly where you need to run from, and it was literally just as easy as that. So as long as you kept moving during this phase, you were fine. It was not that challenging at all, and you can see the lightning there. There was a few times where I thought I was going to get hit, but the lightning doesn't actually hit in that large of an area. So yeah, after this, you just had to continually keep doing that a few times. It actually was like a 5-minute fight here, and then you go into the second phase, which was basically Resident Evil 3 remake. If you played it, this is this exact same Nemesis fight. What I thought to be funny is Jill required so much more, like some crazy lasers to actually do the same things that Leon was able to do. Power scaling has gone crazy. With this one, you just had to keep running around the arena. It's actually a lot larger. You'd actually like go up to the left-hand side right near it, and that would just help you stay out of the range of some of its attacks. But all it really took was just blasting away like that, and then he had to pull out the good old-fashioned RPG 7, and yeah, then literally just end her off just like that. So really simple at that point, and that was the finisher right there. So I like this fight. I think this is my favorite fight in the game. I just wish the Victor Gideon fight at the first part was maybe like 50% longer, and then it would have been really better. A common theme among all these is that they just could have been a lot more challenging. Like every single fight here, if they had like different mechanics or just made it a little bit more tough, I think that that would have made them a lot better. But we'll see how the DLC handles boss fights, and we'll see, I guess, in the future content that comes and all the remakes that are coming. But I think they did a decent job of paying homage to a lot of the previous Resident Evil games, and I think it did just that. So I think it was a fine game. If the bosses were a little longer, would have been perfect. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video.